Why am I going to go talk to that girl and try to get a girlfriend when
Yeah.
I've got a simulated version of that right here in my pocket?
See, bro, that's bad. That's bad. Literally at my job, right? We have people who come in and help us to make the job easier, right? They do it for their school. They get credits. I don't gotta do the busy work. Win-win, you know what I'm saying? My boy. He be doing me a solid, we do him a solid, you know what I'm saying? But literally, this one boy had came in, right? And he was on his break. And he was on his phone, and apparently he was talking to his AI anime girlfriend. I wasn't there to see it, but apparently my coworker was, and he was like, yeah, bro, he was looking at his phone, and all you see is him typing, texting away at a little anime VTuber avatar. He going crazy, you know what I'm saying? He had a top hat on his head. It was like he was trying to get ready for a date or something, or he was already on the date and he was trying to look presentable, but in front of his AI girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting bad, bro. The most dangerous mindset I see as a therapist. Video by LS Author. And I was scrolling my YouTube homepage. I seen this video pop up and it said the most dangerous mindset to have just as a person in general, seen by a therapist, a professional in psychology, and what has worked the most for his clients, right? So when I thought about that, I was kind of trying to see, of course, as people do, to see if what we're thinking is the correct way or the most dangerous mindset to see as a therapist, because we want to believe that we're correct, we're living our lives to the best, we know better than everybody else, which I feel like I do. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, but I know that's obviously not the case, but that's just the confidence I have, you know what I'm saying? But I also have the logic and rationale to realize that ain't always the case. Which is why we click on videos like this to find out if my theory of what I think is the right way to do it, which I've come to an epiphany recently, thinking that I've found a pretty good mindset to have. We're gonna see if it lines up somewhat with what this therapist is gonna say, so let's get straight to the video.
There is a tendency that I'm seeing more often in my work as a counselor. It's concerning. It's this tendency of having very, very little tolerance.
Oh, he's saying dangerous as in you don't want this. I thought dangerous as in, yo, if you move like this, you just OP, nobody could stop you. Like you know what I'm saying? You a cheat code, but okay. We'll still see what the video is talking about, but okay.
For how long people are willing to suck at something. You know, a very low tolerance for how long they're willing to kind of struggle and toil and fail in their attempt to attain a certain goal. So I make this video because it's such a concerning predicament, because I want to talk about what I think they're losing when they forego that experience
Right.
of the toil and struggle and failure. But also, too, I want to talk about why I think it's so easy to perpetuate and why I so fully understand and empathize with where they're coming from. So first, let's start there. Like looking at this situation, like trying to picture myself as a 15-year-old or something, being told, "Hey, read Catcher in the Rye, and I want you to write this 5-paragraph essay on it." I certainly can understand being like, no, guy.
Yeah.
Why do I want to sit there and read this book, words on a page, boring the piss out of me, and then try to sit here in front of a blank page and write 5 pages worth of material about what I thought on it? Yeah, kick rocks. ChatGPT's got me. AI exists.
No cap.
Get away from me. I get it. I understand where they're coming from, right? Same thing with sports. Like, why would I want to join this team? Everybody else is already close-knit. They're friends. They've been on this team for 2 years. They're looking at me like, who's this guy? And I suck. I'm throwing the ball like an absolute idiot, and everybody's looking at me, and I don't like how this makes me feel. Why would I do this when I could just go play video games? This is much more fun. Why am I going to go talk to that girl and try to get a girlfriend?
Yeah.
I've got a simulated version of that right here in my pocket.
See, bro, that's bad. That's bad. Literally at my job, right? We have people who come in and help us to make the job easier, right? They do it for their school. They get credits. I don't got to do the busy work. Win-win, you know what I'm saying? My boy. My boy. He be doing me a solid, we do him a solid, you know what I'm saying? But literally, this one boy had came in, right? And he was on his break. And he was on his phone, and apparently he was talking to his AI anime girlfriend. I wasn't there to see it, but apparently my coworker was, and he was like, yeah, bro, he was looking at his phone, and all you see is him typing, texting away at a little anime VTuber avatar. He going crazy, you know what I'm saying? He had a top hat on his head. It It was like he was trying to get ready for a date or something, or he was already on the date and he was trying to look presentable, but in front of his AI girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting bad, bro. When that's the alternative and you don't even feel like getting the real thing, it sucks, gang. Like, it's bad, bro. It's definitely bad.
And that'll take care of what I'm looking for, at least for now, at least for this moment. And that's kind of the issue. We are sacrificing a piece of ourselves on the altar of convenience every time we take the counterfeit version, right? I'm going to take counterfeit version. I'm going to take counterfeit version that's going to satiate this feeling right now. And there's a major issue with that because we're not even realizing that we're on a steady diet of this counterfeit bullshit.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough time away from our phones in general to have intentionality, to have deep, insightful thought in our own lives, contemplating, what am I doing? Is this how I want to do things? Not having any perspective on ourselves or our lives because we're just in it piece by piece, moment by moment, eating the counterfeit. And so that's kind of why I'm saying I understand why this is so concerning. And social media exacerbates and kind of facilitates this environment of the perceived, of the aesthetic, of just do the surface level, just shine that surface, just make it presentable, boom, just fix it, quick fix, all about the looks. That is why I get the concern and I empathize with it. But I don't think we put so much thought into how deeply detrimental it is to us. I don't have a good word for or understanding of exactly what it is we're leaving behind. Maybe you.
I feel like it's growth. Growth is what you are leaving behind by avoiding discomfort. Because literally, right, when you suck at something, as he had said in the video, it doesn't feel good. You might feel embarrassed, you might feel nervous, you might feel anxious, you might feel, you know what I'm saying? What word am I looking for? What's it called? Ashamed. You know what I'm saying? To feel bad at all them things. And the thing about it is, right, those unpleasant feelings, they can oftentimes render you feeling helpless, right? And nobody likes feeling helpless. At least I know for me, when I try to go up to a girl that's just way too pretty, oh yeah, I feel like I'm ready to explode. You know what I'm saying? It's not a great feeling. And that's the thing that happens when you do something that you're unfamiliar with, because our brains, they interpret things that we're not familiar with as unsafe, because we're designed so much as creatures to crave the same thing, right? Not because we don't want to try new things, but because we're used to it. We're comfortable. We know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? If we know what to expect, there's really no risk of danger. Therefore, we stay with these things. But the thing about it is, when you're experiencing those uncomfortable feelings, they're often markers that you're doing something that you've never done before. And in doing things that you've never done before, you leave yourself opportunity to grow. You know what I mean? But in that growth, it doesn't feel like you're actually growing because you're experiencing those negative emotions and them thoughts that are rendering you helpless. So when you're doing these things and they feel so bad, you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's so uncomfortable. How long do I want to feel uncomfortable? I don't want to feel uncomfortable at all. I'm going to go back to doing this old thing. Not realizing that the reason why you feel bad is because you ain't done it before. And the more that you do it, the less you're going to start feeling bad. Eventually, you will feel the same exact way that you feel doing these things you're comfortable with and you're used to, doing the new things because you did them so much that you're now used to them. And in that, you will have grown. You will have expanded your comfort zone way more and grown as a person way more. So I feel like by avoiding discomfort at the, you know what I'm saying, microscopic level, the second you feel some discomfort, you're like, oh, nope, I'm not doing that. Let me go back to doing what I'm doing. Anime girlfriend AI. Yeah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? But by doing that, you're just keeping yourself limited. You're avoiding growth and you're keeping yourself small as a person. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, at least.
Do what we're leaving behind when we forgo that time of toil and struggle. But it's like when you read that book and you're bored and you don't know if you can get to it, you're learning something about discipline and how you push yourself and what does motivate you and what do you really want out of this life. And then you're sitting there with the blank page and you're thinking about the book and you're actually being honest and earnest in your attempt to pull something from who you are and what you understand and what you make of this place and the words that were written on the page. And you're kind of coming up with something brand new with the synergy of those two concepts. And you're making something new, all your own, your fresh own ideas on the page. There's something so beautiful and transcendent and improving about that they're just leaving on the table. It's like there's this whole garden in you that can grow, and you can be this incredibly enriched person, but the soil, the enriched soil that is needed for that kind of internal garden only comes from that time under tension.
Yeah.
It only comes from being the new guy in the boxing gym who doesn't know how to throw a punch and is embarrassed as the guy next to him makes the bag sound like it's a war zone. You know what I mean? There's something in that you learn. And I don't mean just, oh, I'm learning the skill of boxing and now I'm a better boxer. I mean, why am I insecure? Oh, I'm learning about brotherhood. I'm learning about camaraderie. There's these internal things that'll happen too. These things that will happen to you that pull on all of these existential questions left,
Facts.
right, and center, and you're going to go, wow, I know myself so much better. But what in the world is AI going to teach you about yourself? What in the world is the video game going to teach you about yourself? Maybe that one has a little bit.
The video game can't, but the AI. Using the AI as a therapist, you kind of can, but I get it. He means using the AI to do your assignments for you. What is that going to teach you about yourself? Which is a fair question.
More merit than I'm giving. I'm not a video game person, but there's probably more merits in the video games. But with the videos on your phone, what is that going to help you with? What's it going to give you, like, you know, that's true here?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry about that tendency for kids, younger individuals, and even older individuals, and even myself, to just give up more of who we could be and just handing it over to convenience.
To the void, yeah.
For the perception, for the aesthetic, for the sheen on top. To
Yes.
just get us to the next hit.
I like the way
guess that's
he
just life dictates.
I like the way he said perception, right? Because I feel like what anxiety is the failure to meet who we think we should be, the distance between who we think we should be and who we really are, right? We feel like we should meet up to a certain standard, most times to impress people, to appease people, to make us feel good and worthy about being, you know what I'm saying, ourselves, for lack of a better term. So I feel like when you do new things that you're not necessarily good at, if you build up in your mind that you're the type of person that's just good at everything you do, and you come across any little thing that you suck at, you're like, bro, I don't want to do this. This combats who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to step to this position because it just makes me look inferior. Like a beta. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that thing whatsoever because it doesn't align with who I am, right? But in doing that, you're actively lying to yourself, because literally being the type of person that's good at everything on the first try, that's only something that you need to stroke your own ego. In fact, it does more harm than it actually does good, because not realizing you can suck at something at first, but you need that season of sucking, pause. You need that season of not being good at the thing in order to get good at that thing. By not being good, you have to question, oh, what do I need to work on? Those thoughts pop up in your mind. Those emotions of, yo, I feel like I'm trash. I don't want to feel this again, so I'm going to keep going past this until I'm no longer trash. You know what I'm saying? Those thoughts and those emotions, those negative things which you can perceive as being uncomfortable and negative, if you look at them to say, yo, these things are causing me to reflect, and by reflecting, I get to see what's really important to me. I get to see what I need to do to get to the next level where I'm good. And then and only then will I do those things that are necessary, grind, and then get good at the thing, right? So low key, bro, those negative emotions and feelings, sure, they feel bad. They don't feel good to have, but they're crucial. You know what I mean? Because you can either choose to stay small, or you can go in spite of that negative feeling and not feel it once you get good, or once you get better, or once you grow, right? Both options will have you feeling good at the end of the day, but for two different reasons. The one where you step back down into comfort makes you feel good because the threat is no longer there. The second one, where you go past that discomfort, you no longer feel uncomfortable, you feel comfortable because the threat or the crisis has been averted. Which isn't to say you ran away, but you overcame it. You know what I mean? two senses of comfortability for two different reasons. But which one do you want to choose? Do you want to be the level 1 grunt stuck at level 1 for your whole life? Or do you want to be the level 100 boss? You know what I'm saying? One shot and everything below him. Realizing that the only way you're going to get there is through adversity, through self-reflection, through discomfort, through problems, so that you can problem solve, get better and stuff like that. That is the only way that you will get to that level. Unless you are just naturally talented at something, which, you know what I'm saying, it might be worth looking at that. Because I feel like your purpose is where a need is met. It's aligned with what you're good at. And yeah, things of that nature. That's kind of like what you were put on this earth to do, because you don't choose to be good at certain things. You just are better than others at certain things. And if there's a need that needs to be met, that aligns with your what you're good at, I feel like that might be your purpose right there. So that is worth looking into, but that's not to say that you can't try anything else just because you're not as good as someone else at it, because you can get great. Y'all ever seen Naruto Rock Lee, bro, when he was fighting Gaara and he opened the can of whoop you mean? He was giving Gaara that belt for a little bit before he got his legs and his arm crushed. But we don't talk about those things, right? Because after that, we can. Let's talk about it. After that adversity, he came back stronger. You know what I'm saying? They did hold him in the show. He didn't really get to do nothing very impressive, but that's besides the point, right? He didn't let those little adversities stop him. He grew from them. He went through that season so that he could come back and grow into a stronger, splendid shinobi. Much like the metaphor that has been displayed in this video. And yeah, I'm gonna let my man get his thoughts off before I end the video real quick, because I've been rambling, but I think it was a good ramble at the end of the day.
By dopamine or something, you know? And it's not a life I want to live. So I'm trying to break out of it for myself and do more that pushes me out of my comfort zone, that teaches me more about myself. I don't do enough of it. And I'm trying to help with these clients to understand the benefit of that toil.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you guys think about that? And what are we leaving behind when we say, I'm just going to hit the convenient button? That was easy. You know, what are we giving up?
WVid, my man.
Curious.
WVid, my boy, WVid, man. But yes, I feel like I lost the plot a little bit there, but he brought me back on path. So shout out my mans, right? So I feel like also, not only are you giving up the potential to get better at that thing when you say, oh, I suck, I'm going to quit. You're also giving up learning more about yourself, which I feel like I did mention before, but I want to expound on it a little bit. That thing that you suck at, that could be the thing that you was put on this earth for. That could be the thing that you get so good at, you're like, yo, bro, I should have been doing this sooner. That could be the thing you love so much, but you won't even know that because you didn't try, because you weren't good at first. So oftentimes, just because we don't want to feel bad, we end up blocking ourselves to things that we might end up loving, things that we might, you know what I'm saying, see as crucial parts of who we are, things that tell us more about ourselves when we might not know who we are. You know what I mean? So that discomfort is necessary, gang. You could either choose to be comfortable for a completely different reason, which is from running away, or you can choose to be comfortable by running through and breaking through every single barrier in your way. Or trying at the very least, you know what I'm saying? You can take pride in that effort. But I want to be the person that takes pride in that effort and breaks through and sees that they didn't know that they could do these things, but through sheer effort, determination, maybe a little bit of luck. But you know what I'm saying? I was the one who made that joint happen. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I could. And that was crazy, because once I seen that I could do it, that just gives you a new sense of confidence that you never would have had if you didn't go through it in the first place. And low-key, that uncertainty of whether you can become good at something or whether you will become what you think you can be, seeing where you start off at, if it seems that much unrealistic, it's low-key fun to try to say, yo, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know I will. I know I'm going to get there, so let's start the journey right now. Low-key, that unpredictability about life in general is what low-key makes things fun, because why would you want to do something if you already knew what was going to come of it? What's the fun in that, for real? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just a few things to think about. The most dangerous mindset that this therapist has said and that I feel is just avoiding discomfort, running to things that make you feel good, but they don't quite satiate that itch that you really want. It's like kind of seeing what you want, finding a suitable substitute that doesn't cause you to feel any bad feelings, and then just staying with that instead of really going for what you want, right? That is the most dangerous mindset, whether because you don't think you can get it or you just don't want to go through that feeling of embarrassment or whatever. Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that. And I hope people will start to do the opposite even more. But yeah, this was a W video. Appreciate y'all watching it. Let me know what y'all thought of it in the comment section down below. While you're there, please like the video and subscribe. Thank y'all for being here once again. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Love y'all. Peace.